welcome everybody. I'm excited to be here with you and to say good morning and good afternoon. So we're going to spend about 2.5 hours together today to talk about managing CRAs to improve study outcomes. And there's lots of information to cover. We really like for these to be interactive. So anytime you have questions, please feel free to either type them into the chat or unmute and ask them. I will pause periodically and ask if you have any questions, but that way feel free to ask again. This is meant to be super interactive, so I want to hear feedback. So my name's Tabitha, and I have been in the industry about 22 years this October. So I started off in clinical operations, did a brief stint in pharmacovigilance, and then moved into quality assurance, which is where I've been for the vast majority of the time. I think it's been about probably 19 years of QA experience at this point. I've hosted lots of regulatory inspections, done lots of teaching, done lots of site readiness, done lots of helping solve all of those things that go bump in the night. So lots of experience there. I'm also a licensed counselor, and I do have a small private practice in my area. And that's going to be helpful as we kind of talk through this, because there are a lot of psychological concepts that are part of this. So what are we here for today? What we're going to be doing is talking about the human performance improvement model. We're going to recognize it as a CRA management model. So how does it fit into what we do? We're going to apply the model into our current practice, which we want to be proactive CRA management. We're going to apply the model into current practice, as well as it relates to managing performance issues. And we're going to analyze case scenarios. So we're going to talk a little bit about different ways this might play out. And I am a storyteller, so I will probably tell some stories along the way. So for supervisors of CRAs, these can be CRA managers, leads, project managers, vendor managers. Sometimes it's a clinical trial lead or a lead CRA, or companies tend to call it different things, but there's someone doing oversight of CRAs. And really, if you look at it, you manage performance managers. So the CRAs are assigned to their site or study to make sure that the site is performing at the level that it needs to, that all of the regulatory requirements are being followed, all of the protocol objectives are being met, that the data is good. They're there to make sure that everything is going well at the site. So you're managing people who manage other people, essentially. And performance management and improvement really equals science involving logical processes and applications, but it's not inherent. So this is meant to be, when we're doing it well, a very intentional thing, right? So it's not an inherent thing. We're not doing it by the seat of our pants, but we are definitely managing performance in a particular way. We know that monitoring is required, right? So if we look at the FDA requirement for both drugs, biologics, and devices, we know that they require monitoring. And if you have looked at the latest iteration of ICH GCP E6, it also talks quite a bit about monitoring and gives us even a broader framework for what that might look like in the age in which we live. Adequate monitoring directly correlates to project risk management. So that's both financial and regulatory and business and all kinds of stuff. And it significantly affects the outcome of product development and approval. One of the things that I just like to note at this point is that if we look at what are the top things routinely cited in regulatory inspections, every single year for literally the last 20 years, one of the things has been inadequate monitoring. So that's something that FDA finds frequently. It's similar to what MHRA and EMA also find. So this is something that we really want to give good attention to. We want to have effective management and performance of CRAs. It should be part of our essential business practices. And we want to promote improvement where gaps have been identified so that we can fix the problem and also make sure that our systems are running that they need in the way that they need to. So performance management and improvement really is a science that involves logical processes and applications. There's a procedure for this. And again, it's not inherent. It has to be very intentional. We don't accidentally do this. Human performance improvement is a science that's applied directly to the management of the CRA to promote performance improvement. And if you're managing your performers, then you need these skills. So hopefully today we're going to learn about these skills and how do we dive in and do them in our environment.